All right, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do now is activity 312 part 2, which has us turning a motor on and off multiple times at varying speeds and directions. So again, I'm going to go back into my MCPS classroom, activity 3.1. I'm going to go down to activity 312, and I'm going to scroll all the way down past 6, which we did last time, to part 2, which says open up the template again and save it as 312 part 2. So I'll go into Robot C. If you didn't already, make sure you save the work you did for 312 part 1 and click open file 311 and then click file, save as, and we're going to save a copy of it as 312 part 2. All right. And your motors and sensors should already be set up as they were supposed to be. Now, if I go back and take a look at what I'm supposed to do, it says my wiring should stay the same. Everything's good there. Write a program that performs the following behaviors. Use the natural language functions where appropriate, as shown below. Add comments at the end of each command line to explain the purpose of each step. So it needs to turn the right motor on forward half speed for 5 seconds. So to do that, I'm going to go into Robot C, and under the natural language is where I get my stuff, my programming code from, and I want to have some movement. So I'm going to start a motor. So if I click on that, I can drag it into the program here. It says start motor. It says what motor? And if you recall, it told me I needed to start the right motor. So let's go back, and we'll change motor port to our right motor port, where I can either type in port 2 or I can type in right motor. So I'm lazy. I'm going to Control C and Control V. The next thing it said was to do it at half speed. Well, and to do it forward. I know 127 is full speed forward, so half of that would be 63.5. So half speed forward. And then it says to do that for, 5 seconds. So putting 5 seconds in there means, just like I did with the LED in the last program, I need to have the wait command. And the wait time that I want to use is 5 seconds. So I'm going to hit 5. All right. And then from there, I need to stop the motor. So let's go back and we'll do a stop motor, which is right here. Click and drag, drop it. And what motor port do I want to stop? Again, I want to stop the right motor. All right. Anything else I'm supposed to do? Let's just double check. This is kind of showing you where to find that natural language stuff. Test the program and troubleshoot if any problems occur. Then it says to modify the program to include turning on the left motor the same time the right motor is turned on. All right, well, let's test it first. So I'm going to go ahead and show you my active view. And the left motor is hopefully going to be this one. If not, I'll show you the other one. So let's run the program, compile and download, and it should run the motor at half speed for 5 seconds. Let's see. All right, there we go. Can see everything. All right. Well, I don't hear anything and I don't see anything, so that's a problem. That means I need to use my debugger window here. Let's go over to motors and make sure that this is clicking over to 63. It is. So why is my right motor not working? Now I get to troubleshoot it. And I actually don't know why it's not working. It's all plugged in correctly. There and there. It might be that my battery isn't charged. It could be a lot of things. Let's see if we can turn the right motor on, or the left motor, or the servo. So none of those work, which means that I've got to go through some troubleshooting. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to close Robot C. But before I do that, I'm going to save it, close it. I'm going to unplug I'm going to turn off and unplug the USB and the power on my Cortex. Then I'm going to plug the power back in. I'm going to plug the USB back in. I'm going to turn it back on. And you'll notice it ran my motor for 5 seconds. So it ran the program that I loaded to it. It just wasn't connected quite right. So let's go through this. Let's go back in and we'll start the program again. So again, I got to open up Robot C. And when I do, I get to open the file, which is part 2. I need to compile and download it. And once I do, I can click start. And you can see my motor turning for 5 seconds and then stopping. Excellent. All right. So next thing I need to do is type in pseudocode and all that fun stuff. Although they gave me a new challenge, which is to turn the left motor on the same time the right motor turns on. So there's another program thing I can use to do that, which is called, there's actually several ways to do this, but I'm going to show you a different one. So I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to go back into natural language. And this time I'm going to do robot motion, and I'm going to use forward. What forward does is it tells all the motors to move forward at whatever speed I set. So let's test. Do I want to test that? Let's see if there's something else. Test it, make sure it works. So let's do that. Go back here. F5 to download it and compile it. And I'll zoom out a little bit so that you guys can hopefully see the active view of both of the motors this time. You notice they both are moving, although it's hard to see this one. It did in fact move as well. All right. So finally, let's go back. And what we're supposed to do is modify it again to reverse the motors using 2 different programming methods. Okay. So now I'm going to go into my program. And now I need to reverse the motors. So one way to do that is I can go ahead into robot motion and put backward speed. And we'll use the same speed. And we'll do that for, I don't know, 2 seconds. And then I'll stop the motors again. All right. Let's actually have a wait here as well so that you can see that it did in fact stop. And then finally, another way to reverse the motors would be start motor. And in this time, I'm going to put in my right motor. Oops, that wasn't right. And I'm going to put in a negative 63.5, which will make it go in reverse. You have to have a wait command after that, and then you should also have a stop command. Now you'll notice I put stop right motor, which means I also have to have stop left motor here. And let's compile and download it, see how it goes. I'll make sure our video shows up for you guys. One more time. This one's turning and this one's turning. You can see them both. And then you can see them switch directions. All right. So last step you need to do, add in your pseudocode, add it up top, add it here as well. And then just like last time, snip and search. You need to give me a copy of your program, make sure your name is on it, and paste it into the assignment in the classroom. So if you go back home, it should show up on